Hello everyone. Here's a rundown on player housing and my initial reactions. The houses are located on their own islands. The Alliance on Founders Point, the Horde on Razorwind Shores. Opinions will vary when it comes to which one looks better. I personally found both to have their charms. The starting area of Razorwind called back to my first orc that I made, and Founders Point has the spooky graveyard setting that I was looking forward to. They do know that people want more options when it comes to the zones, to exterior or interior design, and that's all a work in progress, something they'll add and open up over time. The NPC gives a tour of the zone, which is separated in different kinds of vibes, while still being part of one landmass. So you've got a graveyard section a bit further away from other people, you got a more central flowery farm area, a coastal scenery, a spot high up with a diving board into waters down below. Different vibes for different people. But what happens when you want the same plot as someone else? In a public neighborhood, so neighborhoods where anyone and everyone can join in, this won't be an issue, as you can swap around in different, let's call them layers, of the same location. So if on layer named Thornspike your house is taken, it might be available on layer Paladins for the win. You could just swap around and get in there. Live with everybody else on that same layer, that's Paladins for the win of course. When doing it in a guild or in a pre-made neighborhood, it becomes a little bit more difficult, and you'll have to work it out amongst each other who gets to go where. Maybe you'll do a timeshare, maybe you'll do a makura, maybe you enter a generational feud over the person who dared to take your house, and now you're glaring daily at each other. You'll have to figure it out for yourself. Side note, you can find your friends' houses in your friends list. You right-click their name, you check out their house, and then it gives you option to teleport. It's not operational right now, but it is a feature in there. And as I'm working on this video, visiting other friends' houses becomes available for testing, and it is insane. The way it works right now is that if you have somebody in your party, you can right-click their frame and you can visit their house. Except when they have the setting that you're not allowed to visit, then it won't show up in the window. Fantastic. Once you're in there, you can chill in their house, you can interact with all the stuff that's happening, but they can decorate in real time, as in, they can pull out the furniture, drop it into the room right next to you while you're in the room. In the same way that they can readjust the rooms, the floor, the ceiling, the wallpaper. And this blew me away, because my experience with player housing is that it's a set layout and that you need to adjust it before friends coming in. I've had this in Genshin Impact, I've had this in like a Final Fantasy. Real-time editing was not available. And here it is. You can adjust it on the fly, which opens up a lot of possibilities. The way it works right now, if you're in a room that gets deleted, they teleport you back to the entrance. This opens up a lot of possibilities when it comes to editing. War mode, or dueling each other, is also available. You can duel each other in the house, and the range that we were testing, like, okay, how far does it go until the duel automatically cancels, is massive. You can turn your house into an arena. If you turn on war mode and you go into a neighborhood, you are attackable. My horde friend was able to attack my night elf who has war mode on. That means you can turn the entire neighborhood into a PvP zone. You can make your own combat area. You can... Wild. I did not expect this to be so powerful. But here we are. My major question that remains is how many people can enter your house until things start to break? Like, what is the limit as to the amount of people that can enter your house? Because they don't need to be in your party in order to enter. When does it start to phase out? When does it start to lag out? Like, can I have 100 people, 1,000 people? I'm thinking New Year's Eve party, right? Like, how many people can go in there until the game starts to break? I'm not really worried about the neighborhood, because they'll probably have, like, phasing techniques or whatever, or, like, it's a bigger zone. But what about my house? Wild. Mind blown. Right. Back to the rest of it. Once you have a location, you pay a gold price. Right now, it's 1,000 gold, but alpha will be alpha, and you will have your home. Say that you do have people that you absolutely do not want to come near your little plots. Then you can adjust these social settings. And what I found really funny is that there are two options. You can filter who is allowed inside of your house. Friends, guilds, neighbors, all those options. But you can also filter who is allowed to even step into your yard. And if they're not on the list, they'll be bounced out. Also notice the ignore button. I imagine anyone on your ignore list is just automatically banned from your house as well. You can decorate the outside of your house, but only in the style of the zone that you're in. Alliance can live in the Horde zone and the other way around, but you can't put down an Alliance-style house in the Horde zone, or a Horde-style house in the Alliance zone. There will be 2 houses per account, one for your Horde character and one for your Alliance character. Inside the house, you're offered a tutorial on how to decorate, and this is where the system started to blow me away, because my initial take was that this was going to be like the Garrisons, right? You get some set in stone spots where you can put up a variety of items, and then they started to roll out articles, and it became so much more. Now, after actually playing through it, the power of these tools is insane. The walls can be done in several different styles, and that style can be adjusted with material, adding some combos and variety. The same goes for the ceiling and the floor. With one click of the button, you can apply the same style to all your walls in that room. It's thankfully not the entire house, right? It's done per room. Or you could just do it individually. I've been asked if you can adjust the ceiling height. Not as far as I could find, but you could in theory put up some decor above your head to load it manually. And I've also been asked if you can make a basement. Not as far as I could find. You can go up really high though, but I haven't seen a room for a basement as of yet. The adjustments made inside of the house do not reflect on the outside, so if you do make a tower, your house won't suddenly look like 9 stories high. The outside and the inside are unrelated. There are some limitations in place to what you can do. You can place an X amount of rooms, and you can place an X amount of decor. Decor having its own value per item. Limitations that can be upgraded by collecting more furniture and filling up the renown bar, but it's not going to be limitless. The furniture for decorating is going to come from different sources. Think drops and achievements and professions and all the good stuff. The game will retroactively check if you've already done something and add it to your rewards. So if you've done like the meta achievements, for example, or I don't know, kissed 1,000 critters in the world, the furniture related to that reward will be added to your collection. Anyone will start collecting with the update in early December, but if you actually want a house to put it in, you'll have to pre-order midnight. You can move your house around quite easily, and it should maintain the same decor that you have. The hope is at some point we'll get something like loadouts so that people can decorate for you, that they can share their patterns, make that a new aspect of the game. The furniture woven into professions. I saw, for example, a windmill pattern and a steampunk bed that's going to be part of the engineering profession. So there won't be a dedicated carpentry profession. It will just be woven into existing ones. More lumber is required. Warbound, sellable lumber that is going to be used for the recipes and that we'll have together. There has been the question about multiple items. Say that you want 6 chairs in your house. Do you need to collect those 6 chairs individually? And they said yes. There will be rewards connected to achievements that can only be earned once, but in that case, I still wonder how that will work. So, for example, there's an achievement that's gonna give me a bed, but now I want 20 of that specific bed in my house. I'm going to assume that it's just gonna be a rare item that you can only put in your house once, and I won't be able to duplicate it, but that is an assumption. And speaking of duplicating, I do hope that we're gonna see a copy-paste button added to the editing tools, as well as a go-back button, in case you mess up and you want to go back to your previous edits. Decorating can be done with far more advanced tools. You want to increase the size of the item, rotate, move them around in the room and put them down. You can do all of that. Clipping through the wall is also an option, and again, you won't see it clip through the wall when you look at the house on the outside. The windows provide lighting, and I thought it was really cool to see that the light actually moves as you rotate the window. And if you increase it, the size of it, the light becomes bigger. Make it smaller, the light becomes smaller. The windows don't work, as in you won't be able to look outside and see your friends walking around. Maybe they'll be able to make some paintings or projections to create the illusion. Would be kind of nice. Some of the doors are interactive, so you can place the going outside door right next to your bed to make a shortcut. And while the objects are all solid, I am hoping to see more items that you can interact with. Click on them and they'll do something like the fireplace does. Outside of your own place awaits the neighborhood that you're gonna live in. And you can already tell that this place has been designed with community in mind. There are spots provided, tools to play with, like a stage with actual flowing curtains, or a cooking area, or a fishing area, or a little booth where I could see people get married, or beachside parties, or, you know, build it and they will come. A lot of tools give it the players to express themselves and hang out with each other. Utilities are still to be decided, like Will we get an auction house, or a workbench, or a rune forging station for Death Knights? They're still considering what to do in that regard, because in essence, they be making an area that starts competing with their capital city. And you still want players in the open world. You still want them in the capital as well. My personal opinion on this one is that a lot of the utilities are already in our back pockets. If I need an auction house, I've got a raid team full of people that will jump on one. If I need a workbench, I think I could use engineering to drop one down. A mailbox is also on that mount, or several toys that provide it. The utility has already been made mobile over the years, so why not put it in the neighborhood as well? And if that does create a situation in which people are no longer going to the capital, then offer other things in the capital to draw those people in. Think, for example, events from the anniversary, like a mount of, or transmog competitions, or Joe telling stories, or quizzes. Y'all remember those add-ons with like quizzes that people had? Those were great. Best of both worlds, but that is my opinion. And speaking of opinion, I think that this housing system, the decorating part, is brilliant. Far better than I ever imagined it was going to be. A system I can easily see them develop further over time, with collecting more furniture, more decor options, more types of rooms. That part they pretty much got down. But what I think will really make this successful, that's gonna be the social aspect of things, which right now it's a little bit hard to test. How many people are going to be able to come into my house before it starts to lag out? Will it start phasing them to deal with it? And could we maybe see like a guest book added to the game, so that visitors can leave a message about how cool my house is, or how much of a dickhead I am? You know, that social aspect, that bragging bit, it will carry it a lot. Or maybe they could allow us to put up our own social things, like retainers in Final Fantasy with characters of a warband, or maybe there could be NPCs to show up, or like pets that could be placed down, make it a little bit cozier, a little bit more like home. And then on the outside, what is the neighborhood going to look like? What kind of seasonal events are going to call people back in to be part of it? What kind of community events are going to pop up? Like, will we see a Nepego lead a fishing extravaganza? Or are the goblins going to turn a bit of the islands offshore into a racetrack? Or is there going to be a cook-off with Nomi? Like, what events are going to come out of the game? And how is the community going to respond to this? I was talking about this with a guildie yesterday on the differences of community between something like Final Fantasy and World of Warcraft. These games, apples and oranges, in my opinion, you play the games for different reasons. And I'm very much of the mindset that neither game should try to be each other. But they most definitely can peek over the hedge and take the finest of elements. In the casing of housing and role-playing and socializing with each other, WoW is lacking in the ways of expressing yourself that Final Fantasy offers so much more. I'm talking emotes, but also toys to interact with each other. It's great that you're gonna give me a stage, but am I just gonna stand there? Am I gonna type /lean and that's it? I'm hoping that they're aware of this and that we'll see improvements in that regard. I also look at these development tools for a house and I'm like, you know, we could easily make dungeons ourselves now. Imagine if they gave us a sandbox dungeon where we could put up decorating, we could put up a style, we could put in some bosses, like what they've done with Dastardly Duos, mechanized versions of bosses that we faced in the past. Create your own dungeon or like a torghost tower, and you can give reason for players to visit each other's neighborhoods. No power upgrades, of course, but, you know, throw in a painting, or a new table, or a different coat of paint, and I will overcome the greatest boss challenges known to man. And I've also heard the suggestion about letting us make our own racetracks, or dragon riding races. There is so much that could be added with this housing system. You can easily see the potential where they could take this. And so far, I am extremely impressed with what they've created. Hope it's gonna be great, but that's gonna be it for now. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. And until next time, see ya!